What up, world? What up, world? What up, world? What up, world, man? It's your main man. I am DJ Double Dose Man. And this is I am DJ Double Dose Man coming at you from Double Dose of Reality Sports, man. This is a tough one. This is a tough one. We're gonna unpack all of this shit. You know, I've seen everything. I've gotten all of your texts. I've gotten all your tags. I've gotten all your jokes. I've gotten all that shit, man. I have. I've gotten all that shit. And I had to sit back because I wanted to get on the mic yesterday, but it wasn't gonna be very professional. It was not. And the one thing that I want to do with this in this with this show and with this brand, I'm gonna cuss. We know that. That's me. That's who I am. But I also don't want to sound ignorant and stupid. And especially when I'm extremely pissed off. So took a break. Um, I had some things I had going on Sunday. Watched my watched my Niners wax the Eagles' ass. Enjoyed that. Pause. Enjoyed that very much so. But let's get in. But without all of that, man, congratulations to Florida State for finishing the season 13-0. We, on this show, we talked about checking boxes and we checked them. Beginning of the season, beat LSU's ass. Check. Beat LSU's ass worse than a lot of people. Held that man to 17 points before garbage time. That's neither here nor there. Beat Clemson. Finally, got that monkey off our back. Check. Got a berth to the ACC title game. Check. Went in with a third string quarterback. Not Jordan Travis, not Tay Rodemaker. Brock Glenn making his very first collegiate start in a championship game with literally everything on the line. Did that kid play great? Hell no. I am not about to sit up here and say that he did. But the one thing that he didn't do, he didn't turn the ball over. And he let the defense do their job. And by the defense being able to do their job, we saw what happened. Held Louisville, an offense that was averaging well over 30 points a game. Held them to not one, two field goals. That was it. You go look at Louisville. And I told you in the preseason, Louisville was going to be there. But a lot of you thought I was talking crazy, of course, because you don't really follow the ACC, and that's fine, But their schedule was made for them. This was probably about the best schedule you could get. I mean, preseason, you had Florida State, Clemson, North Carolina, the top three teams in the conference. I looked at the schedule. I said, damn, they avoided all three of us. The only kind of question mark you had was Miami, of course, but you know that they are trash, you know. But they could have lived up to the hype. Preseason, we didn't know that Tyler Van Pick was going to be as garbage as he was, but he was. But outside of that, you looked at that schedule for Louisville and you said, hey, they'll make it to the ACC title game. So that's neither here. All of that is all well and good. But before I start with this bullshit that happened, I wanted to make sure that I gave my squad their flowers for going 13-0. Now, what most of you are here for is cool. Let's get into it. First of all, I want to kill this one bullshit narrative that is being put out there because those of us who actually love the sport and actually follow it, we gamble on it, we watch teams that's not our teams, all of that. Let's stop right here, right now. So my Alabama fans that watch me, that's probably looking for me to say something about y'all, no. You know why I'm not about to say nothing negative about Alabama? Here's the reason why I'm not going to say anything. Even though ESPN tried to put that shit out there and made it seem like this came down to Alabama and Florida State. We're going to get into all of this in a minute. Does not come down to Alabama and Florida State. Whatever, despite what they tried to say on the fucking TV. At the end of the day, Alabama, what did Alabama, because all this ties in together. What did Alabama do? They scheduled a home and home with Texas. Last year, they beat Texas in Austin. This year, they lost. But you know what Alabama did? They played a non-conference tough opponent, unlike two other people that we're going to get into in just a minute. And after that loss, they lost. After that loss, what did Alabama continue to do? They proceeded to do exactly what I said they was going to do. I told you they were not going to lose to LSU at home. They didn't. Told you they weren't going to lose to Tennessee at home. They did not. They went on and won all of their games in the SEC. And you know what their prize was for doing all of that? They had to face Georgia in the SEC title game. Now, did I think they were going to beat Georgia? Hell no, I didn't think they was going to beat Georgia. Not at all. We're not even going to get into the X's and O's of the game because that's not what we're here for. But I did not think they was going to beat Georgia. Was I wrong? Yep, I was wrong. But guess what? They pulled it off. They had one loss. They went through the SEC, and they had to actually beat somebody. Now, let's look at everybody else that's involved in this foolishness that happened. So before everybody starts sitting around here, because I've been seeing it. And, Bama fans, y'all gonna get y'all troll on, and that's fine. I ain't that. I'm used to y'all. I live in Birmingham, Alabama. I've been dealing with y'all for a long time. So that don't bother me, especially when y'all are right. It doesn't bother me. You can't sit up here and say that them beating Georgia, they didn't deserve to be in the playoff. It's bullshit. They deserve to be in there. They did. See what I did there? See what I did there? I didn't say see what I did there. They deserve to be in there because of what they did. So all of this, people, because ESPN gave you that crap and wanted you to follow it, that it came down to Alabama and Florida State. Listen, I'm not mad at Alabama, and nobody can be. If you really watch a sport and you follow the sport and you love the sport, you cannot be mad at a team that actually went and ended Georgia's 28-29 game winning streak. You win that game, you deserve to go to the playoffs. End of story. End of story. Despite, and I think a lot of Alabama fans is getting caught up in the shit too, saying y'all know we better than Florida. It's not about you being better than Florida State or not. You earned your way in there. You beat Georgia. Yeah, you lost to Texas on the field, but ultimately you still had to, like they say, because at the end, this is where the problem, and this is where my problem comes in at. They tell you that when you play those games, which Florida State did, just like Alabama did. Hell, Ohio State even did it. They tell you they want to see these games, and they basically tell you you're not going to be penalized for playing these games because a lot of people, i.e. Michigan, won't do it, refuse to do it. They won't do it. So, yes, they lost to Texas. They did. But they went ahead and finished winning the SEC, and they had and they gift at the end of that was they had to go as a underdog and beat Georgia, and they did it. And if you think that doesn't warrant you being in a playoff, you out your goddamn mind. And I am not an Alabama, and everybody that knows me know I'm not an Alabama fan, never will be. But at the end of the day, I'm not about to say them folk didn't deserve to be in there when they did what they did. I'm not going to say that. Not at all. Especially, let's look at their opponent. Okay? Because this is where I have a problem. I don't have a problem with Alabama making it in the playoffs. Some people do. Some of my fan base, some people do. Some people have an issue with Alabama being in there. I don't. I mean, they won the SEC. They had one loss. If there was a 3-loss SEC champ in here, then yeah, we'd have something to talk about. But they're not. They lost one game, and it was a non-conference game. They went undefeated in the SEC and had to beat Georgia. They deserve to be in. Simple and plain. Guess what they did? They actually played somebody non-conference. You know who didn't play nobody non-conference? You know who hasn't played anybody non-conference over the last few years? But for whatever reason, whether it's because, the Big Ten primarily is shown on Fox, so ESPN really don't give two fucks. ESPN really don't give two fucks about it. Maybe that's why maybe that's why they're not talking about Michigan and giving Michigan the full court blitz like they should be receiving. Let's be clear. I picked Michigan to win the whole thing. You know why I picked Michigan to win the whole thing? Because of the same reason why I picked Louisville to make it to the ACC title game. Their schedule is complete ass. And it's been complete ass for the last few years. They've been giving a middle finger to the rest of college football and said, you know what? We're not going to play any damn body non-conference. We don't give two fucks if you like it or not. We're not going to play nobody non-conference. We're going to schedule this bullshit that we do every year, and we're going to bank our season on being Penn State and Ohio State. But for whatever reason, everybody wants to bring up Alabama. Everybody wants to bring up Florida State's resume. Everybody even wants to bring up Texas's resume. But you know what those three teams had in common? They actually had the balls to play people non-conference. Michigan has literally given the playoffs a middle finger. And it's crazy because nobody is questioning this. They want to keep harping on, Alabama got in over FSU. Texas got in over FSU, blah, blah, blah. But nobody wants to bring in Michigan's shit into the equation. You want to see it for those of you that need that need to know Michigan's schedule. You want to look at it? Let's look at it. I got a little time. Okay. Let's look at it. Now, and we're going to get to that foolishness a little later. But let's look at it. UNLV. Okay. They won 35-7. UNLV. Who turned out to be okay this season, I guess. They played for their conference title. Bowling Green. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot one. East Carolina. So that's East Carolina, UNLV, Bowling Green. Okay. Now let's get into this whack-ass Big Ten schedule. Rutgers. Nebraska. Minnesota. Indiana. Michigan State. Purdue. Penn State. Maryland, and Ohio State. Non-conference, these folks literally have done this every single damn season. They've done this shit. They've done this. And you know what the result of it is? Because I'm making a point. So you know what the result of it is? Let's share the screen again. Because, we talk about this shit I've been hearing over and over and over and over and over again about if Florida State had played in the game, they would have got beaten. They would have got the doors beat off of them. This would have happened. Because, we'll bring up the TCU crap in a minute, but that's what everybody wants to run with. Again, nobody's questioning Michigan's schedule. Nobody's questioning Michigan's resume. Okay, they beat Ohio State. All right, cool. Why are we bringing Alabama's schedule in? Why are we even making it seem like Alabama didn't do anything? They lost to Texas, okay. But we're not. But we want to keep showing it. Like nobody's bringing up Michigan at all in any of this shit. Okay. Now, since you want to make these jokers unequivocally number one, all because they beat Ohio State. Now, on the flip side, if this was Ohio State, I wouldn't have an issue. You know why? Because Ohio State plays people non-conference. This year they played Notre Dame. They've played Oregon non-conference. They've played Oklahoma non-conference. You know what I'm saying? Ohio State plays people non-conference on top of still having to play Michigan. Whereas Michigan literally does the complete opposite. And you know what the result of them doing the complete opposite? Yes, it gets them into great bowls. Yes, it has gotten them into the playoffs. But you want to know what Harbaugh's record is in bowl games? Oh, I have it. Since everybody wants to assume that Florida State, even with Tate Waterman, want to ignore our defense, that's fine. We'll say, oh, Michigan would have smoked y'all. You sure about that? Because let's look at Mr. Harbaugh and his bowl history, because again, like I said, they don't play nobody in non-conference. So when they actually do play somebody worth a damn, let's look and see how good they fare when they actually play people worth a damn. Okay, we're gonna sprinkle a little bit of Stanford in here, but the rest of that shit is all Michigan. 2009, and I'm going back, that's fine. They lost to Oklahoma. 2010, they beat Virginia Tech. Good win at Stanford. That's around the time he dipped. Now, 2015, they beat Florida. 2015, I'm sorry. They beat Florida 41-7. Now, look from then on, what have they done in bowl game? 2016, Florida State beat them 33-32. I want you to keep up with these losses. 2000, because they're consecutive. 2017, they lost to South Carolina 26-19. 2018, they got the brakes beat off of them. They lost to Florida in the Peach Bowl 41-15. 2019, got the brakes beat off of them by Alabama 35-16. 2021, because y'all want to bring up the TCU crap. 2021, this same Michigan team, guess what they did? They faced Georgia, and what did they do? Get the brakes beat off of them 34-11. And then, last year, since everybody wants to see, because we're going to tie into that too, since everybody wants to say, oh, they ain't let Florida State in because of what TCU did. Well, you know what TCU did do? They beat sorry-ass Michigan. That's what they did before they faced Georgia. They beat Michigan before they faced Georgia. They beat Michigan. Y'all seem to keep y'all want to run with that TCU shit, but y'all keep forgetting in order for them to have played Georgia, guess who they beat? The same Michigan team that for whatever reason is not being questioned at all. They are unequivocally number one, and that's it. We want to keep harping on Alabama, but leave Michigan. Oh, no, they good. They good. We ain't gonna worry about it. But at the same time, y'all want to talk about the past. You know, this happened to this team in the past. This man ain't won a bowl game in 7 years, 8 years, whatever the number is. He's won 2 bowl games. 2. That's it. But Michigan is unequivocally number one, and they've literally not scheduled anybody non-conference on purpose because they do not care, and they like, hey, us beating Ohio State is going to be enough. And guess what has happened? The committee has said, whereas everybody else is out here, even like I said again, I'm not on here for to talk bad about Alabama, because guess what Alabama does? They schedule people non-conference. They do. But you got this other team who don't schedule anybody non-conference, but yet they are unequivocally the number one team in the nation and haven't played anybody. And this is my problem with the whole thing. You say on one end, you talk out your ass and you say you want Well, you've never really said it, but you've shown the precedence of putting the most deserving teams in the playoffs. But then in the next minute, you want to say you want the best teams in the playoffs, and you're going to rank them accordingly. Well, if we're doing that, then why in the hell is Michigan number one? I'm just trying to figure that out. Alabama played a Texas team that is also in the playoffs with them. And in order to even get there, they had to be the number one team in the nation. But yet, for whatever reason, Michigan goes out there, stinks up the joint again against Iowa. Don't look good at all. Basically put it in park and get up out of there. But yet, nobody questions Michigan. They the number one team. And then let's get on sorry-ass Washington. In what world is why we're not questioning Washington either? You get what I'm saying? Like, I knew y'all thought I was going to come on here going another route, but my point is stop pointing the fingers in the wrong direction or stop coming up with these fake-ass narratives in the wrong direction. Alabama earned their spot. Leave them folks alone. If they want to troll and celebrate, let them. Ain't nobody beat Georgia in almost 30 games. And they did it when nobody thought they would. If they want to talk shit and beat their chest, let them. They earned their way in there. Same with Texas. Texas did something nobody expected them to do. They went to Tuscaloosa and they won. Did they lose Oklahoma? They did. Did they play a weak-ass opponent in the damn Big 12 title game? They did. But my whole issue with all of this is no one's questioning Washington. And you say, okay, okay, Double Dose, Washington played this and Washington played that. Okay. So the 1 year they decided to throw a whole, because again, they decided to throw a whole bunch of ranked teams, numbers on teams in the Pac-12. Do you really think that if you give, and I know we can't do this little game because it really doesn't matter. So I won't even, as a matter of fact, I won't even mention it. Because even with the schedule that they had, they struggled. Did they beat Oregon? Yes, they beat Oregon in the regular season. They sure the hell did. And let's look at what they did after they beat Oregon. Let's look at how great this Washington resume is that nobody seems to question. I don't know. Let's look at it. Okay. Let's look at it now. They played Tulsa, non-conference. They played Michigan State, Big Ten team. All right, whatever. That's still better than what Michigan has done, but okay. Cal beat the brakes off of them. At the time, Arizona was not ranked when they played Arizona. They're ranked now. I don't think Arizona was ranked when they played. Either way it goes, because I don't think they was ranked when they played them. Arizona, they won by 7. Then here's the one. They beat Oregon. Okay, cool. That's a nice win. After that, Arizona State, they struggled. 15 points. Stanford, they struggled. That's not a good Stanford team. They struggled. USC, they had to survive a shootout. Gave up 42 points. Oh, in the Stanford game, they gave up 33. Utah, again, 1 touchdown game. They had to survive. Oregon State, they won by 2 points. Washington State, they won by 3. That's a bad Washington State team as well. And to cap it off, they did play Oregon again, and they won by 3 funk-ass points. But somewhere in this equation, everybody had their mind made up that the Pac-12 was in regardless. Now, I ask you, we say Florida State was screwed because they was. However, there's a lot that went wrong in all of this. There was. There was a lot of the committee has done a lot of things, you know, over the years. And if you are Florida, and I'm gonna end it like this because we've been on here long enough. I made my point. I know y'all thought I was gonna go another route. I know y'all thought I was gonna be upset and angry and yelling and everything else. Nah. I mean, at the end of the day, them folks have made up their mind. And for those of you who want to say I'm getting on this mic and I'm saying this, when you see the video tomorrow, you want to inbox me, I can post the receipts. I text the fellas from DSL podcast literally before kickoff. And you can see the date is timestamped. I read to you verbatim what I said. And if you need proof, I can show it to you. But I read to you verbatim what I told the fellas. And this is literally before kickoff. Let me pull it up. Hold on. It's right here. We talk a lot in the chat. I literally said these exact words at 6:44 p.m. This is before kickoff. This is after Alabama had won. This is after Texas had looked good. I said, they finna fuck us no matter if we win. Tuck was like, nah, just win. They said, yeah, that's a possibility. This is all before kickoff. Tuck said, you can't leave on the undefeated champ out. I said, shit, watch. I said, unless we blow them out, they will put Texas and Bama in. I literally said all this. Literally said all of this. Documented. At 6:54. Before the game even started. Before we even kicked off. My partner Larry, I called him. He can vouch too. Called him. In the middle of the first quarter. I said, man, y'all, he's a big Alabama fan. I said, man, y'all got it. He said, man, I said, I'm telling you, man, they not finna let us in. This all happened Saturday night. This was all before Sunday even happened. So before anybody think like, oh, you just saying it now, you just all calm now. No. I said all this shit before we had even, part of it was before we had even kicked off. The other was after the first quarter or during the first quarter. I said all this. I said all of this. So at the end of the day, am I upset? It sucks. I mean, it sucks. If I was Florida State, what I would do, I would have told them to take that Orange Bowl invite and shove it up their ass. That's just me. That's just me. Obviously, we know contractually, money, all of that stuff is involved. So we know 9 times out of 10, they're not going to do that. I mean, it's cool for us to say, you know, in the outside world, but at the end of the day, people got to get paid. Things got to get built. The whole works. Now, would that be one hell of a statement? Yes, it would be one hell of a statement. But we know that's not going to happen. And the final note to the playoff committee, I know it's not going to really matter with the 12 teams because damn near everybody's going to get in. But just stand on what you say. Whatever you say your criteria is, just stick with it. Because don't say that it's the 4 best teams. Because we have seen years where the 4 best teams was not in there. Because if you want to talk about 4 best teams, remember when everybody was up in arms last year about Alabama making it with 2? So just stand on what you say, because there were definitely years where the 4 best teams was not playing. Y'all know that, and I know that. And this ain't about Florida State. This is just being honest. There was definitely years where the 4 best teams was not playing. They put who they i.e., who they thought or who they figured deserved to be there. It was not the four best teams. Did they get it right this year? It's subjective. It is very subjective. But I'm gonna tell you the two teams that earned their way in there. But it's actually three. Because even though I feel how I feel about Washington's overall resume, they again still had to actually beat somebody worth a damn to punch their ticket. But we got the team that's the number one team overall, and nobody's questioning at all. But we want to keep worrying about what. So at the end of the day, man, I always remember, this is a little bit somber. It's a little long, we try to stay in the 20-something minute range, but I feel like I had a lot of stuff I had to get off my chest. Um, and I know it went a little different than what a lot of people expected. So I'm calm. And yeah, we're gonna get back to more excitement. I'm telling you right now, Thursday. Today is what's today? Today is Monday, December. Oh well, at the time I'm recording this is after, but we'll just say for argument's sake. Today is Monday, December the 4th. So Thursday night, I'll probably record. And we're gonna discuss the upcoming matchups in the NFL this weekend. We're gonna talk about the Heisman. Um, and yeah, man, we're just gonna keep it moving and move forward, man. Yeah, we're gonna talk about the playoffs. I mean, because we're gonna watch them. I mean, I'm not gonna sit up here and lie and then like I'm not gonna watch them. I can't do that. That'll be me being disingenuous to my audience. So I always remember, man, no matter what, and this is definitely one of those times to definitely do this. I always remember to live, laugh, and love, man. Live your life to the fullest, love on the people that love you back, and find you something to laugh at each and every day, man. And we out here, man.